Meeple Talk!
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome to Meeple Talk. So this time we're going to be doing a little bit different game here. So we decided to go with a Kickstarter game. This one is called Evolution.
Yeah, so Evolution is a game by North Star Games. This is their first theme game, I would say, that they've ever done. This game was kickstarted in 2014 and delivered early 2015. That's when we got it in Canada anyway. And this is a game for 2 to 6 players. I would describe it as a light strategy game. And so we're going to tell you a little bit about it.
Sure. So the overall design of the game is pretty simple to learn. Really what we have is a series of, well, you can't really tell by here, but these are your species. It's kind of designed in the theme of, well, Dinosaur Land. And what we do is that we run through a series of cards that we all get dealt, and we all use them to do different things. We have a couple different objectives. One is that we can use these cards. You'll notice that there are certain character traits on them, whether it's to help you feed, whether it's to help you grow in body size or population, or have better defenses. So you can use these cards for those. You can also use the cards to add food to the watering hole, so you can create food resources that everyone's going to use and feed on. You can also use them to, well, I already said enhance your particular character, but you can also use them and expend them to increase both your population and your body size. And why those are important is that body size helps you in relation to, when it comes to attack and defend, the larger one wins, essentially. And also your population, your overall goal in this game is to try to eat as much food as possible. So the larger your group is, the more food you're going to end up consuming. And so the food that you end up consuming is going to be stored in your little used food bag, so to speak.
That's
so
the plate term.
Yeah.
Poop bag is another.
Poop bag is
phrase,
another,
yeah.
exactly. But that's generally the idea behind the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you start with one creature, a generic creature who has no abilities, so there are no cards above that creature. And as you progress through the game, you can put a maximum of 3 different cards on top of them, which would enhance them, allow them to maybe feed, get 2 food tokens instead of 1 as you get food during the game. And or
cannons.
What?
Cannons.
Oh, cannons?
Yes, good defenses.
Yes.
Yeah.
That may be in an expansion. But anyway, there's like climbing, hard shell. There's one called cooperation, which again allows you to get more food and so on. So the basic idea of the game, as Stephanie mentioned, is so you've got the victory points from the eaten food. You get the victory points from at the end of the game, the total amount of population you have, and you get victory points for, in the end, how many cards you have. And when all the cards are gone, then the game is over. So it's a pretty basic game. Another thing we should mention is that there are herbivores, and you can also convert your herbivore into a carnivore. So the herbivores all eat from the center, but the carnivores can only eat from the populations of other herbivores. They can't eat from the center. So if the carnivores can't find someone to eat during one round, then they go extinct. And whenever your last creature goes extinct, you can get another creature for free. But also, during any round, you can use a card to get another creature. So you can have multiple creatures, and that certainly does happen in every game. And as well, you can use your cards to add on to a population just by discarding them, right? So you can discard a card to get a creature, discard a card to get population, discard a card to get, I should say, population or size. Now, the way the carnivores work is that they need to be bigger than the herbivore they're attacking. That's like the basic rule. But it gets more complex when there's other cards on top of the herbivore that can protect them. So then sometimes the carnivore will have additional cards that, negate that card, and so on. But that's basically how the carnivore works. So the game's pretty basic in terms of, the amount of strategy you have, the amount of things that you can do in the game. So
And I guess I would say that would lend to one of its benefits of playing the game. It's very easy to pick up and go. That's a term I like to use from time to time. So there's not a lot of investment in rule reading and trying to learn it. I think the other thing that is good going for it is that it always has a sense of inclusiveness. So it's not the type of game where if you get extinct, you're kicked out for the rest of the game and everybody is playing around you and you're just kind of sitting and serving. Every time your creature goes extinct, you get a new species. So you're always going to be involved in the game. So it's very inclusive that way. So you're always participating. However, when it comes to some of the things that I thought could be improved, I think it's a little bit of a misnomer. When I read the descriptions about evolution, I was envisioning these catastrophic world events, like a certain, weather event that causes you to change your creature, or some other event that happens that would make you really, or force you to evolve. I was thinking something along those lines, like external forces that would make it happen. And that really wasn't the case. In a way, when you're building your creature, you're using your cards and they give you descriptions like, hard shell that enhances your defenses, or foraging that lets you eat either earlier, or sharing and cooperating with other creatures. So those are good in the sense of, life as it currently happens, like you kind of network and try to feed your populations better. But I didn't really get the sense that my creature was really changing dramatically over a period of time. I also had a hard time visualizing what my creature was going to be, because these placards here represent your entire species, and you've got some cards that they have good illustrations on them, but
this is a very good point to bring up, because I know this is a stretch goal. They came out with these cards that look like dinosaurs, which is cool, and there's no question the art is amazing in this game. So
it looks great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But when I bought the game, I thought it would be the sort of game where you're creating a custom creature. You're customizing it. You give your creature a long neck and a spiky tail and some other unique abilities, and it's your creature that you built. But you really don't get a sense of that when you're playing. What you get a sense of is you have this generic, came out of a cookie cutter creature, and then you can add this feature. And they have a picture of some other creature climbing. It's a climbing feature. Or, cooperation, and you see a lot of ants. So when you get, a maximum of 3 cards on your creature, you've got pictures of 3 different creatures, and then you've got either this generic rectangular board, or this creature which doesn't in any way represent your creature. It's just a picture of a creature. So I think it
looks like an herbivore, could be a carnivore.
Yeah, and I think they really missed in the sense of the idea where you really get the feeling that you're building your creature. And I also kind of, thought it would be something like where you would have your species, maybe reptiles, and you would have some unique abilities that only reptiles have, and someone else would have mammals, or something to that effect. But there is absolutely no customization in that sense, except for random cards that you put on your characters. Well, I
was just going to say, too, on a different vein, too, I felt like, even though it's supposed to be a game of survival, eating or you die out, or carnivores attacking or you die out, I feel like it was a little too protective in a sense for the herbivore. I felt like even though you have cards that could either contribute or to deplete the food resources, playing it over and over again, we never really took the advantage to reduce the amount of food available. We all just wanted to feed as much as possible, so we all put as much food in.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to when carnivores attack, I feel like we should have been able to have creatures that completely got wiped out more often. I felt like some of these protective cards we got too easily, and so we just defended really, really well early on. And so there was not this, sense of, I'm going to get picked off at any moment.
So, I just want to emphasize the carnivores for a minute. I played the carnivores a couple times, and my friend tried 3 times to create a carnivore. The carnivores are too difficult to create. Because the moment you create a carnivore, everyone ups their body size, and they add protective cards, and the carnivore doesn't have a lot of a chance. So they often just go extinct because they can't eat. And I found my only good strategy was to have an herbivore first, and then have a carnivore, and then if I couldn't find anyone to feed off, I would have to feed off my own character. But that is counterproductive, right? How can I excel in the game with a carnivore? So I felt there was very little motivation to be a carnivore.
It was a luxury.
And without the carnivore, there's very little gameplay in the game. I feel like there's almost no strategy left. You're basically just doing random things, getting random cards. You can add an ability. You can only add 3. You get another character. You beef him up, and then all too soon the game is over. So, overall impressions?
Well, to me, I think of this as a game of almosts. It's just, it had a lot of potential. I was really looking forward to this game because it looks good. The art is great, and it seemed like it was going to be a fun game designing your creature, and it just fell short of that. And I felt a little bit like an almost, pretty much. That's pretty much how I would sum up. So you can play it, but I wasn't, in the end, particularly excited about it.
Yeah, myself as well. I felt a bit disappointed they had gotten the game simply because when you play it, I find that there's very little strategy-wise that you can really do. There's a lot of luck involved, just the number of cards you get. And I feel like that you're collecting these cards and you're putting them on and you're building your creature, but you're kind of not playing with other players. You're kind of doing a solo game, and there's not enough strategy or interest as a kind of, you know, a solo multiplayer game, which a lot of Euro games are, and they're quite fun. But this game, you know, as a game that doesn't have a lot of interaction with the other players, I felt it didn't have enough strategy as well. So it was just kind of a meh game, and it didn't wow me. It didn't impress me. The art impressed me. The art is amazing, but not well used.
Yeah.
So that's my overview as well.
Yeah. But, well, I guess I can't overview winners. But
That's right.
we still want to thank you for watching, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.